We want to give our regular viewers a quick update on the predicament of Richard I. Fine, the disbarred attorney that's been incarcerated for over a year and a half without ever having been convicted of any crime. He has had no trial, he's had no bail, no future hearing date, and has been jailed the entire time in solitary coercive confinement by Superior Court Judge David Yaffe, who's trying to break him for attempting to disqualify the judge from sitting on a case where he had accepted illegal payments from a party to that case. For a second time, the Supreme Court has denied Dr. Fine's writ, and by their denial, they are permitting the use of extended coercive confinement in absolute contradiction to the Supreme Court precedent of the William T. Farr case, where Justice William O. Douglas established 5 days as the maximum time that anybody could be held in coercive confinement for civil contempt of court. Dr. Fine has just filed a second request for a Farr hearing in Judge Yaffe's court, now that the Supreme Court has ignored his writ of certiorari. But volunteers for Dr. Fine were stopped cold in their tracks this week when they attempted to file Dr. Fine's petition for a hearing with the Superior Court. After taking the filing fee of $40, the clerk even refused to put it on the court docket. Full disclosure was told by Court Clerk Connie Hudson that Judge Yaffe had demanded that the court clerk was not to schedule the Farr hearing until Dr. Fine acquiesced to Judge Yaffe's order of March 2009. That order requires Dr. Fine to commit to a judgment debtor proceeding, to reveal all his finances to the court, to collect a $47,000 fine imposed against him when he filed a court document 1 day late. Dr. Fine contends that this is an illegal order because Judge Yaffe presided over the case unlawfully. That raises the issue. What is Judge Yaffe's motive? Why did he refuse to step down and allow an impartial judge to continue to hear the case? Dan Gottlieb read from the transcript of Dr. Fine's hearing where Judge Yaffe admits to receiving the illegal payments.
Now, Mr. Fine has listed the matters on which I'm called to testify, and I don't think there's any dispute about any of these matters. I have received payments from the county. I did receive them while I was handling cases to which the county was a party. I did not report them on Form 700, which is filed with the Fair Political Practices Commission of the state of California.
Faced with no way out other than complying with what Dr. Fine believes is clearly an illegal order from a judge with serious conflict of interest issues, Dr. Fine has decided to renew his fight for his freedom. He has prepared a new writ of habeas corpus, only this time basing his petition on the fact that Judge Yaffe has refused to perform his duties of a judge as required by the law, the Code of Ethics, and by refusing to give him a hearing as required by the Supreme Court precedent of the William T. Farr case. Now, realistically, the court can simply do what they've already done in the previous case, repeatedly deny, deny, deny. All levels of the court, from the Los Angeles Superior Court to the state Supreme Court and lately the U.S. Supreme Court, have ignored the canons of judicial ethics, the rule of law, and even their own rules of the court. We have to ask why. There appears to be a preconceived determination by all the judges in the various levels of the court to deny Dr. Fine his freedom by any and all means. It appears that they are determined to force him to obey what is clearly an illegal order by a judge with obvious conflicts of interest while denying him his due process. Full Disclosure has repeatedly requested interviews with the judges and with the court and government officials, and even with the state bar regarding Dr. Fine's case. We have been consistently refused and stonewalled in our attempts to find justification for their actions. For the last 15 months, they have failed to provide any explanation for their actions. As a result, it is impossible to be impartial in this case. This entire judicial branch has refused to give reason for aborting every legal procedure and denying Dr. Richard Fine his due process and civil rights. And where is the ACLU? They have remained strangely silent while supposedly serving in the role of protecting our civil liberties in one of the most egregious abuses of the rule of law. And yet they have members serving as judges in the highest courts of the land and involved in this case. It would have only taken one of them to put a stop to this gross injustice. Is it possible that they are now focused more on working against religious liberties rather than for civil liberties? Full disclosure will continue to bring you the news behind the news.